Hello everyone and welcome to my channel or welcome back. I'm Chris and this is my Zepbound journey, and I have lost almost 60 pounds on Zepbound since February 28th of this year, 2025. So it's been a wonderful journey for me so far. I'm gonna go over today how it went on my 9-day cruise that I just got back from. We took one trip to Disney a few months ago with one set of our grandkids and my one daughter and her husband. And we just finished our second vacation since 2019. My husband and I had not been on any vacations in 6 years. So we're kind of making up for it a little bit with a couple of vacations, which were phenomenal. So this second set, we went with our other daughter and her husband and our other grandson, and we were celebrating my mom's 80th birthday. So I was very worried about how it would go on the cruise. And it went very, very well, I think. I would not hesitate to go on another cruise again. I think people think of it as there's a lot of food on the cruise and it's more of a problem because there's a lot of food. But what I look at it as is a lot of opportunity because there is a lot of everything. There's a lot of fruit, there's a lot of vegetables, there are a lot of roasted vegetables, there are tons of protein choices that you have to choose from at every meal. And so instead of looking at it as a huge challenge, I was able to really look at it like, wow, I could get just about anything I want to eat on this cruise and stay in my healthy eating mode. So I lasted half the week with super healthy eating. I worked out 4 times in the first, a little bit more than half of the week. And I stayed pretty much completely on like a little bite here, a little bite here, there of, something sweet, something that. So my stomach was not bothering me. And when I eat at home, I eat a lot of protein, not protein powders. Protein powders I prefer to eat whole foods like chicken and beef and cheese and, chicken, beef and cheese, fish, shrimp, and then also vegetables. So we'll have a salad every night. And it used to be a big salad when I was dieting before Zepbound, but now it's a smaller salad with balsamic vinegar dressing and some vegetables, peppers or tomatoes and onions. And so I'd kind of gotten into a groove. A couple eggs for breakfast almost every morning, sometimes an extra egg white. Lunch is couple days of the week a bean burrito from Taco Bell and a small diet Pepsi. Other days it is a salad with shrimp at my favorite Mexican restaurant. Other days it's a street taco from another one of our favorite Mexican restaurants that's close by. So, but I'm in very much, I've been eating a lot of the same foods since I started Zepbound, week after week after week. The foods that I like, the foods that I'm comfortable with, foods that have not upset my stomach. And so by the middle of the week, it was phenomenal. My brother and sister-in-law flew back from San Diego. My mom and sister went, obviously, to celebrate my mom's 80th birthday. We went with Shannon, our youngest daughter. Then my daughter and son-in-law and grandson that live in New Jersey went. And my mom's dearest friend from 1965 that she met in Buffalo before I was born came with her daughter, 2 of her daughters, and one of her daughter's husbands. And I had never met the daughter's husband, and I hadn't seen the younger daughter, Missy. The older daughter, Molly, was my age, and we were best friends and pen pals growing up. But they were just, and my mom's best friend, Marge. And they were delightful to hang out with. They were a lot of fun. They were fun to talk to. And it was just a really wonderful, wonderful time. I'm really glad we did it. And when I came home and weighed in this morning, I finally got to weigh in because yesterday I didn't want to do it because I had a little like Starbucks breakfast sandwich in the morning, and I like to weigh in before I eat and before I have coffee or anything, like first thing in the morning. I like to keep it that way so there's not another variable in there. So I gained 1.4 pounds last week on the cruise. It was actually a 9-day cruise, so I missed my last Wednesday's weigh-in. So I put it in my trusty book that I log everything in, my journal, and I will be weighing in again on Wednesday. So I have Monday and Tuesday, and Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to drop down. And last night I was back to plan. I didn't drink. I had my Aplos, which I love, APLOS. It's this delicious alcohol substitute with my zero sugar ginger beer instead of wine. No dessert, had delicious steak that my husband cooked and salad and a little piece of sourdough, like little, with a little pat of butter on it, which is something that I've gotten used to eating week after week, and I have been successfully losing weight. This morning, after I weighed myself, and I was like, okay, 1.4 is not terrible. I didn't know what I expected. I thought I was either going to lose a couple pounds or gain 5 pounds. I didn't really think it would be just like a little up 1.4 pounds. I was nervous while I was on the cruise that, because I've been on this since the last day of February, so March, April, May, June, 4 months, 4.5 months. And I was worried that I would undo all of the things that I put into place, the things that I do every single day that have just kind of the habits that have kicked in. I was very nervous about, because there were 10 days. First 5 days, I was great. The last 5 days, I drank each day. I did have 4 glasses of wine on the last night. Went to a champagne tasting that my daughter bought that was an awful lot of fun. Had champagne. I didn't drink a lot that night. I would take a sip and then give it to my husband, the full glass that they had poured. And then they had cheese and strawberries and, little low calorie snacks that went along with it. But that was fun. I learned how to taste flavors in champagne and how to sniff it and all of that. It was fun. It was actually something I wouldn't have signed up for, but I enjoyed it a great deal. And then we started, as the end of the week was getting around, everyone was drinking wine at dinner. I thought, okay, I'm going to try drinking again, because as you know, if you've watched any of my other videos, I have had drinks a handful of time. Disney World, my last vacation, there was one day that I did not feel good after drinking 3 or 4 glasses of wine on an empty stomach in the heat. The next day was awful for me. And so I've really stayed away from alcohol other than a handful of times going out and celebrating. And so the last 5 nights I did drink. I drank 3 glasses of wine each night. Like I said, the last night was 4, but I drank so slowly. I mean, like a glass of wine an hour. And that helped me not to get sick. I felt really good. My stomach didn't revolt on me, or it's Royal Caribbean texting me about a survey. Let me put it on airplane mode down here. So I felt really good until the very last day. And the very last day, Saturday morning, when we got up and they kick you off the boat very early, my husband and I both had terrible stomach. So I actually feel very lucky, because I don't have my book up here with me, but I will give a quick recap. I did not snack as part of my 5 days, the last 5 days of indulgence, but I did drink with everyone every night, and I did enjoy it. I drank slowly. It didn't get me drunk at all, even having 3 and 4 glasses of wine, like I said, slowly and over the period of like 4 hours. I ate dessert, but I do like the fact that on a cruise ship, they're very tiny. They're not giving out enormous portions of dessert. Now the dining room, they do give out bigger portions of dessert. So I did have baked Alaska, and I did have coconut cake. That was delicious. And so finally, it took a few days, but it did catch up to my stomach. But my husband, who's not on Zepbound, also had an upset stomach. So it could have been in the shrimp that was in the jambalaya. I don't know. But I was happy to find that I could eat normally and behave normally on a cruise ship and have fun and enjoy the food. The food was delicious, and still eat in small portions. I didn't overeat. I overate compared to how I eat at home, but I never pushed myself to the point of being very stuffed, except for one lunch where I had a cheeseburger with no bun. I was sticking with the eat your protein first and then eat vegetables. And then I would throw in a few slices of pineapple, which was delicious. When you don't eat a lot of sugar and then you finally eat something that's sweet, it tastes amazing. And so most days for lunch, we would go in the Windjammer Cafe, which is, you can go pick out your own food. We only went to the dining room at dinner time. And I would get a cheeseburger or a plain hamburger. They were delicious. Beginning part of the cruise, I had a bunch of ketchup on it and like lettuce and tomato and pickles. No bun any day with my burger. At the end of the cruise, I don't know why, but they had sauerkraut next to the hamburger for the hot dogs. And I thought, wow, a hamburger. I love sauerkraut. And I don't like hot dogs. I love hot dogs, but they're really gross foods in terms of like having toenails in them and snouts and whatever else. It's just such a ick. Even I buy the clean ones that are supposed to be just beef, but you hear they're just, they're delicious, but I don't eat them all the time. I try not to eat them very often. And so I thought I'm going to put sauerkraut and mustard and pickles on my cheeseburger, and it was delicious. So lunch most days I would have that, and they had roasted chopped chicken. They had roasted turkey. I tried to stay away from the deli meats because they have a lot of nitrates in them, and I try to go with real roasted meat that looks like a chicken, not like delicatessen thinly sliced. So the one day I had the hamburger with the sauerkraut. Every day I put a little salad out that had radicchio, or however you say it, with I'd put some pumpkin seeds on there, and I would put some red onions and cucumbers, a little bit of the tomatoes. Tomatoes looked a little questionable. Cucumbers looked good. Then a little bit of balsamic dressing. And then I had the chopped chicken that day. And oh my gosh, I was so full for like 4 hours. So that pure protein lunch really filled me up. And in the morning, at the beginning, I just had scrambled eggs and like a pork sausage. First, I had chicken sausage because I didn't see the pork sausage. Then I switched to pork sausage because it tastes better to me. It's more delicious. And so I'd have that for breakfast. And then I discovered they had hard-boiled eggs. So the last half of the week, I switched to 2 hard-boiled eggs and some bacon, or some, a slice of bacon or a slice of a pork sausage link. And then I'd add a couple of pieces of fruit. And then dinner was whatever was in the dining room. Every night they had something different. One night it was mushroom risotto and then I would order a chicken breast. They had boneless chicken breast. I would order that on the side. I would eat that first and then eat the risotto and whatever else, the appetizers. I had different things. One night it was buffalo chicken dip with tortilla chips. Another night it was French onion soup. So I was happy to see that I did have carbs in there, like the bread and the French onion soup and the chips that went with the buffalo chicken dip. And I would have a roll with butter every night with my grandson who loves bread. And so I had way more carbs than usual, and it didn't completely kill my diet. That was nice. It was a nice thing. And I wouldn't shy away from going on a cruise again. In fact, I would recommend it to someone who's going on a vacation because of the huge amount of choices that you have. Disney World was different. Like, you had to go food booth to food booth, and it was harder than tell me I'm crazy if you think I'm crazy, but it was harder than going to a buffet and being able to pick out exactly what you like and what's on your diet. To me, that was so much easier. So I would say go for it. If you're going to go on a cruise and you're worried about being on Zepbound or Ozempic and you're afraid that they won't have food that you can eat. If you are eating I don't even know, I'm not Mediterranean, I'm not keto, I don't eat fat bombs. It's just prioritizing protein, always adding a vegetable at lunch and dinner, and not eating sugar and not eating a ton of fruit. Right now is how I'm losing weight. I hope to incorporate fruit when I get closer to my goal weight. When I get into Wonderland and I'm close to my goal weight, I will start introducing at that time fruit on more of a daily basis and see what I can eat without sending the scale up. But the workout room was great. It was a lot of fun walking on the treadmill and looking out at the ocean because they face forward. So I got to see us like coming into port in St. Martin, and it was just wonderful. They had great weights. Some of the life cycle, or whatever it's called, Life Fitness, these curls, I didn't like. It was the only machine that was a little awkward. The rest of them were great, and I kept up the same weightlifting regimen that I use at my YMCA here. And so it was phenomenal. And I wish I was on vacation again, but I missed my dogs, and I don't like leaving them for that long. So anyways, the second thing that I wanted to discuss, the first was the food on the cruise, and how you can go on a cruise and because you have so many choices, try to think of it as a good thing. The second thing is, I did travel with my Zepbound, and I did when I went to a painting workshop convention in Reno earlier this year. Was the first time I had traveled with Zepbound, and I went and bought one of those little freezer cases or little travel cases that people use that are on Ozempic. Now, when you do that, you want to make sure that it will close, because I don't know if people that, or for diabetics, I don't know if the medicine that they use is in smaller syringes than Zepbound, but Zepbound has a really fat triangular base that doesn't fit in every travel pack. So with my travel pack that I bought, I can't find it in my bags, or I would show you. It has 2 freezer packs on either side, and you zip it closed. Well, I had a very hard time zipping it closed, and I didn't want to break the glass. You know, there's glass in there. It is able to close, but barely. So if you're going to get a travel case to travel with your Zepbound or your Ozempic or something that you would like to keep cool, take a vial with you and see if it fits before you buy it if you can, or make sure that it says that it's compatible with it, because several that I tried that's you should take one with you, because several that said that they were compatible, that it would work with it. My Zepbound didn't fit in there. Maybe I was doing it wrong. It's not that hard, you know. I don't know how I would mess that up, but it should have fit in there and been able to close without smushing it. Second thing, if you're flying with Zepbound, or along with that second thing, traveling with Zepbound, if you're flying, the freezer packs have to be fully frozen. If they're not, the TSA can take them away and throw them in the trash. I don't know why. I have no idea, but I made sure when I traveled with it to Reno to have it, I fully froze it in my daughter's freezer, and I had no trouble at TSA. And I've also read lots of people who are traveling now this summer that didn't freeze it, that they throw your packs away. So one thing I learned when I did go to Reno on the work trip, not my vacation trip, was that you can have Zepbound at room temperature. But Eli Lilly suggests if you do that, do not put it back in the refrigerator. I've not been able to figure out why, but it's all over the place on their website that says, yes, it can be at room temperature, and it can be at room temperature for several days. I'm offline right now, so I don't want to look it up, but I had my Zepbound at room temperature for 4 days when I traveled on that trip. And I felt it was perfect. It had the same food suppression, there were no ill side effects that I noticed from doing that, leaving it out on the counter for many days. You don't want it in direct sunlight. So I didn't, I had it like behind the TV set. I was at a hotel and away from where any direct sunlight would hit it. And I actually, when I do my injection, I take my shot out and leave it on the counter for 15 to 30 minutes to kind of let it come to room temperature a little bit more. I don't know if it doesn't tend to feel any better or any worse, but I just do. So I'm thinking that if it's not as cold, it won't sting, because actually a couple weeks ago I took it out and did it right away and it stung. And because I was in a hurry, now that I'm making the correlation there. So I prefer to let it sit out while I drink my first cup of coffee and then inject myself. So anyways, let's see. Travel case, gained 1.4 pounds. The food worked for the entire vacation. I was so happy with my choices. I did log everything. I took my logbook with me because the times that I forgot to put it on my phone, I'd have it in my logbook. I did drink the last half of the trip very slowly, and I did eat desserts. Last night hit me with bad stomach. I did make sure to drink tons of water. We ordered 3 cases of big waters to our cabin, and we went through the first 2, and then we ordered a third the last couple days and went through all of that. So I made sure to drink my water, and that's it. That's my feedback on going on a 9-day cruise while being on Zepbound. I am very happy that I was on it, because in the past, when I've gone on cruises and I've had all that unlimited food, I've eaten a ton, I drank a ton. I will say that the last 4 nights that I drank, when I woke up, I was very tired, and I had not noticed how really good I was feeling not drinking. I mean, I have noticed it, but I really noticed it when I drank. And the next morning, I was just dragging butt. I was so tired. I had to take a nap in the afternoon. And overall, I'm not happy with the way alcohol made me feel in terms of energy level. Drinking 4 days in a row. So I'm just getting my voice back. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't, excessively partying, but I think, my sleep got off a little bit. I stayed up until, oh my gosh, 11:30 one night, 12 o'clock another night, which is way past my bedtime, but took my magnesium with me and my melatonin, took all my vitamins with me, took my collagen with me and my cosamin, and kept taking that. So I tried to keep everything as regular as I did at home, but also not enjoy my trip. So that's it. I hope that was helpful for anybody who's planning on going on a trip. I will do a what I ate on the cruise at a later time. I've been gone for so long. I just wanted to check in with everyone, let you know what my weigh-in was. I'm going to weigh in again on Wednesday, so it's just a couple more days. But I'll be cranking out a few more videos on the food and the journaling and all of that. So I hope you're having a wonderful summer. And thank you for joining me. If you would like to follow me, I try to post twice a week. I always post once a week. But I'm going to get into 2 and 3 times now that I'm done with all my vacations, and share some recipes and some fun things. So thank you for joining me. Thank you, every one of my followers. Went over 500 while I was on the trip. That was very exciting. So I guess now I can do live videos, which is also exciting. I'll start doing those in my kitchen when I'm cooking. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.